Welcome back to another episode on Mr. Project. Let's kick it off right now. Let's get stuck into it. Well, the mailman has been. We've got the parts. We've got the turbo. Come with all the fittings. We've got our bends. And we've got the caster rod bushes. And we've got the flange. So, it's time to start stripping the car. Pretty much going to pull the airbox out of the way. We're going to take all the plug leads off and we're going to start stripping this out, and we're going to get the old exhaust off, and then we're going to get our extractors and mock them up in here and do some chopping and cutting, because all of our parts are here now. So let's get stuck into it. What I'm doing is I'm pulling that off so I can get access down here. Going to pull this aircon and everything out because we are not going to be using that. I'm going to undo, pull the leads off, if I can get them off. Make a bit of room so then we can pull the old exhaust off. Here, for the turbo. Turbo will be living here, and then we'll have to make some pipes go down and through there. Figure it out. We'll figure it out. It won't be too hard. Return line for the turbo is one thing that I'm not too sure about. Not too sure on how I'm going to do that. Tool Pro, if you can hear me, I need some better shit than this. Does anyone want some AC for their car? Let me know. And then we'll just disconnect that one and just cut that pipe right there. We don't need none of that shit. We'll just cut it there. See how much more room we got now? Plenty of room.
Yep. Room for activities.
Room for turbos. See, that's my dream car. Leaving the street. Dream car. Leave a dislike on my video. Cheers. Thanks for watching.
Cheers for the money.
Yeah.
Everybody look down there, is that what he said?
Nobody look, just there.
He said everybody look.
No one.
Just there.
I don't want anyone to look down there. You reckon that's what it's going to sound like?
Fucking hell.
A diesel, Ecotec.
Diesel fucking D-turbo commie.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, man.
We've loosened all the manifold off on both sides, and now we just got to get under there and take them off. So, look at that, hey? No gasket, literally no gasket. There must have been a gasket, look.
What is all that from?
That's just,
Seepage.
that's Ecotec juice, corn juice. Done. Plenty of room to make a crossover pipe from there across and then back up there to where the turbo is going to sit. So we'll pretty much make the pipe come down through here and then connect back up into this. And I've got to think about what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to have to do some chopping and cutting and modifying to make everything work. Well, the exhaust is off on the ground, and when we go to put the turbo and everything on, we'll make our own exhaust to connect up to this and probably put a V-band down here as well. And I just dropped that exhaust straight down and it just hit my finger and it freaking hurts real bad, but it's off. New afternoon, plenty of daylight and plenty of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the extractors. Actually, I have to show you guys something. This here is the extractor for the driver's side. And if you have a look, someone has done some really dodgy welding. Look at the cracks all through it. Like, it's just rubbish. All the way down. So I'm going to have to repair this before I even put it on the car. But I might just put it on for mocking it up. Maybe. And then I can make that and then I can fix that later. I might do that because then later tonight I can fix it up. What do you want to say?
Mate, it's beautiful.
Fully sick.
I love it.
So we've got the extractors sitting on there. I've still got to fix where it's cracked so I can mock up here. So I'm going to have to chop it about there, I think. Probably there. Run the 90 underneath there. So we might just chop that off now and then put it back on, I think. Just cut that off. I didn't cut it very straight. I'm going to have to get the flappy disc onto this end and tidy it all up, and then we're going to weld a V-band onto that. And things should be looking pretty good. Half of this sitting on the car with the headers mocked up in the engine bay. Down there. Right there. And then haven't welded anything yet. And then we'll be able to make our crossover pipe along down through there and connect up to the other one. So I've got the mandrel bend here, so pretty much you can cut that wherever you want and you can make 290s out of it. You could make a huge 180 out of it, whatever you want to do. If I can get under here with the camera, so there's our V-band. I was thinking if I cut this, I'll have to make the camera a bit bigger. If I cut that, so you can see it there, and then I cut where my thumb is, that's going to be our start of our crossover pipe. So if we just cut this directly in half, that'll give us our 290s for one on this side, one on the other. And then we can connect a bit of straight in between and obviously shorten the top of that off a bit. So what I'll do is I'll cut that now and we'll get that done. Well, I've just cut these. I've been underneath the car and pretty much my assumption is I'm going to have to cut it about here somewhere. So I'm going to cut it there, and it sort of needs to go a bit more on that, more of an angle. It's a weird angle, so I'm going to cut this. And we are going to hopefully be able to make something work. So this is our crossover pipe, but the issue we're having is we need it to go more this way. But I think we're going to have to take some more out of that side, do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon that'll get you the clearance to get.
Otherwise we're going to end up hitting
gearbox sump there.
The bottom of the sump. So yeah, we'll cut a little bit more out of it, I reckon. Try that. Yep. So we've pretty much cut that, and now we've got lots of clearance, and we have to cut that straight. And once that's cut straight, we'll be able to make our crossover pipe over there. Massage the pipe there.
Sorry. Sorry, mate.
I think that'll do it. Fuck it, that'll do it.
The project going in work, and you're trying to fucking not get sacked and work on it all day, mate.
Yeah, that'd be a cunt. So we've got this all tucked up and with our little 90 on there, and now we're just going to see where this other pipe fits along in there and how it's all going to look. So we can change the angle of that and we'll have to figure it all out. Ready, set, go.
Right, and well, one like 180 degrees around the pipe.
Yeah, ready? You would not believe it. I've run out of welding wire. Look at that. Far out. Gonna have to wait till tomorrow now. We've got this made up so far. There's a crossover there, but we've run out of wire. It's just gonna work. There's enough room there. There's enough room at the back. And then we should be able to go straight off the side of this here and up there into the engine bay. That's where our turbo will sit. New afternoon, just got some welding wire and it is literally about to rain. What the hell? Can't get anything done. But I'm going to load this up and hopefully it doesn't rain, but it's thunder and all sorts of stuff going on out there. Right when I want to work on the car. Ridiculous. But we'll get this all in the welder. Load it up and hopefully we can do something and it doesn't rain. After yesterday's efforts, we now have our crossover pipe to there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to shorten that up a little bit. It's a bit out of focus, but there's the pipe down in there. So I'm going to try and shorten that up a little bit. So it's going to line up to come straight back up here. In the video, it's sort of really close to this. So we might take, I don't know, 50 or so mils off that, put our V-band there with our 90 on it and send it back up this way. Then once that's done, we can chop these. I'm pretty much going to chop these straight across here. And then I'm going to weld in our other pipe, which is here. So, just so you get an idea, pretty much weld that into there and they will all join into that. And then we'll put our other 90 on here. And that'll come up and our flange will be here. Can't really show you where, but at the end of this pipe, that's where our turbo will sit. I've got the extractors on there, and now I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. And I was thinking maybe if we cut everything and we weld this in there, but then it's going to be a bit close to my coolant lines. So I've really just got to use my brain now, because once I start cutting this, it's going to be a mess. So I've never done this before, that is why I'm taking my time, just trying to figure out the best way. And then once this is welded on, I can weld a 90 onto that and connect it to the crossover pipe. But for now, I've just got to do some more thinking about exactly what I'm going to do. I think this is probably going to be the best option, and then I can face that whichever way I want. And plus I'll have all of those spaghetti bits down there that I can chop and cut and modify and move this wherever I want. It's just going to be a bit of a pain in the bum trying to make it. I will check back in shortly when I figure out what I'm going to do. So this is what I've got. I've cut these off. And then my plan is to weld this onto the flange. And that's pretty much going to be it. It's super simple. I can't really use any of that stuff. And then this will connect to my crossover pipe. So what I'm going to do now is measure all of this stuff up, start cutting and tucking it together, and then we'll have a look. This is what we're working with so far. I've made a few mistakes along the way. I cut those way too short. That's why I tacked them back on. I didn't have enough room to get my spark plug leads on. And the orientation of the way it's sitting right now is going to work fantastic. The turbo looks pretty good there. I've just held it there so you can see what it's going to look like. And I think it's going to work. And it's looking pretty good. Doesn't look great at the moment because it's all tacked and looks like crap. But I will get this all sorted out and we'll add a few extra bits in, and then it should be looking pretty good. Time to fix up where this is all cracked and fully weld this and fix up any other sort of little cracks that I find along the way. And then once this piece is done, we can continue on making the rest of the manifold. I found another crack right in there. So I'm going to have a real good look at this and fix it and clean it up. Let's do that. Patched all of that up, welded our flange completely on, and there was another little crack just there. That's all fixed. grinded back this rubbish. I might put a couple of tacks over that, and after that, that's pretty much, this one will be finished. It can go back on the car. I can't see any more cracks, which is a good sign. And then that means this side will be done. I might even hit it with some black, clean all this up and some exhaust black on it. Now that's drying. We've just mounted this back up in the car. I'm pretty sure I'm going to cut it about here, so then our dump pipe, our crossover pipe can go straight down and connect. So I'm going to cut it about there, I think, pretty much as close as I can to that flange. And then we're going to weld our V-band on pretty much right here. So I'm going to mark that, get it back off the car, cut it and weld it on. V-band all welded on now, got it mocked up on the car. So now we're going to continue to make crossover pipe that will go straight down. We want it to go pretty much straight down here, so then we've got a bit of room for the dump pipe to get out when we go to make that. We're going to grab them and put them back on the car, connect the crossover pipe, do some chopping and cutting and join it all together. Just welded the V-band and the 90 on, and it's all sitting pretty good, and there's lots of room over here for our dump pipe. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt the other side on, which I've painted. I'm going to put the gasket on. I'm going to bolt it all up for the last time because I don't need to take that off the other side again. And then I'm going to continue to work on this side. So I'll put that on now. Just got the crossover on. As you can see, I've trimmed that up and it's all going to line up perfectly down there. So now all I need to do is trim up where that line is, the second line, and we can weld that down in underneath there. And then next week when my flex joint gets here, I'm going to put the flex joint in down there. So somewhere along here we'll cut it out and fit it in. That's pretty much what I'm working with underneath here. I am going to get the welder and tack this on, and then on the other side I'm going to have to patch that up because I've run out of joins. But it's pretty much going to look like that. And when I'm done, it should be pretty good. Now all fully bolted on. All the way, everything's bolted up and it all looks mint. This side's all completely done. It's all been painted. Never have to take that one back off again. This side's all completely done. We will pull this off. I was gonna heat wrap it. Not sure if we're gonna paint it or heat wrap it yet. We might heat wrap this side, and we'll go under the car and have a look. Goes across and straight up there. It's all joined. Happy days we are. This is not finished. I'm going to put a flex joint in this upright here, and we've also got to put an O2 sensor bung in this side as well, but we're going to put a flex joint in here so we don't get any cracking or anything like that. And this is all pretty much done, so I'm going to mount the turbo and that's going to be about it. Let's get that on. Obviously we still need to clock the turbo because it's all upside down. It's just sitting on there with one bolt for now. That's pretty much how everything's going to work. I've got enough room there to get my dump pipe down through there, and everything's connected. I'm actually very happy with the way this has turned out. Sits pretty nice there in the bay, and this side's all completely done. Pretty good. Thanks again guys for watching and tuning into that video. I spent a lot of time fabricating. I don't normally do things like that. It's the first time I've ever done it. It actually turned out really good. Now I'm going to sit here, have myself a nice cold beverage and enjoy the afternoon. And the next video that comes out will be everything getting plumbed up, the intercooler, and then we're going to do a start up and hopefully it all works. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.